All right, folks, welcome. We've got the final series for FreakinAndy and the Viper in the group. And we thought that Andy could potentially be relegated, but we know now that he is at least safe. Now, what he could do with a sweep against Viper here is he could actually push Viper into 4th place spot and go into the playoffs himself. But Viper just needs one win to go playoffs. He will at the very least be 3rd then. Could potentially go 2nd. His potential opponents in the round of 12 are going to be Mr. Yo or Sebastian. So either way, Viper's going to need some big things in the playoffs, and we're going to have some epic matches. We've got Andy playing as the Byzantines in the red, and this is a civ that has just been so dominant on this map. And then we've got the Lithuanians for the Viper, which he loves on hybrid maps. I think he even did it on Jungle Swamp. Lithuanians, early dock, couple fishing ships out. You can just be so quick to the aggression. And Viper loves his monks. Viper loves his knights with the Lithuanians, and Viper loves to drop those TCs and boom up a little bit. Now, I'd be very surprised if Andy gets a sweep, but obviously you have to take it one game at a time. For Viper, I think a lot of what I see today is going to dictate how I feel about his run in the playoffs. Obviously, the start was kind of the start was rough for Viper. He didn't win each of his first 2 sets, and anytime Viper's playing, you're expecting that. But Dark and Heart have also had really good seasons, and with Viper recently had a child, kind of expected he's not going to be doing a lot of training in the early stages when he's going to make the playoffs anyways. And the scene is just kind of at the point now where you will be punished if you're not ready. And we've seen other players be like that. Other players have even been relegated, actually. One of Viper's teammates. So I expect some pretty sharp play here from Viper. I think he had a bit of a wake-up call after the first 2 rounds. Kind of went no mercy mode in the next 2. What did Viper go? 3-0, 3-0? I think he lost 2-1 twice. And then he went 3-0, 3-0. Yeah, so he's a total of 8 wins. Valis and Daniel certainly got near the best version of Viper. But Andy's a really tricky player, man. Like, Andy, he's not unlike most of the other players in Platinum League. He's very solid defensively, but he's also very sneaky. And he's not so obvious about how he's going to play things sometimes. So sometimes what you'll see from Andy is you'll see him sneaking into every single corner at the same time. Like, he's got that. He's great with monks. Great with Cavi. You're not going to see him make a lot of archers typically. And I wonder how much confidence Andy's actually going to be having here against Viper. I messaged Andy, I think, after the first 2 rounds because he did well in those rounds. And I said, dude, what is it with you in Titans League? Because his big breakout performance was Titans League Season 3. And then it maybe hasn't been quite as crazy over the last year or so. Anyway, I said, what is it with you in TTL? And he laughed. And he was like, I'm not anywhere near safe yet. Like, don't hype me up too much. And, I mean, he was right. He was right. He is safe now, but coming into today, we weren't exactly sure. So, I think he just understood the matchups he was in. Crowder Mizjung, thanks for the prime, and sorry if I butchered your name, my friend. Ooh, Andy gets the wall back down there. Viper almost able to snipe the Vil. I wonder why they use 3 TC volleys instead of 2 to kill the boar. Well, it just depends on... It depends on a couple different factors. Like, I do both. So they'll do both as well. Sometimes you're just lazy with it, and whatever amount of villagers you select determines how many hits you do. So sometimes you grab 4 and you don't feel like grabbing an additional 2. Sometimes it's the distance of the board of the TC when you start. But you can do... You'll see players do it a bunch of different ways. Holy crap, dude. Boars are friends, not food, with 50 more gifted. Thank you. My goodness, dude. We've got a villager from Andy. And this villager tried to sneak through, but that one tree was there. Andy thought there was a gap. And now Viper's dropping a house here. And Andy should see the house and move away from it. Oh, and he does. He does do it. Oh, that's sick. But look at Viper. He knows his opponent's reputation. So he's not even moving forward now. He knows that Andy likes to sneak those docks. And he's looking around. He's looking around. There it is. And Andy gets the walls down. Dude, that was so close to being disastrous for Andy. Viper sees this, but Viper can't deny this. There's no way you can deny it now. You just have to adapt to it. And Viper will now drop a second dock. So the Viper's game plan might have been something else here. And now he has to respect this. He has to go kill these fish. Now, Andy, please make a fishing ship in that dock. Please do the Nikov mind game. Guys, if he makes a fishing ship in this dock, I might scream a little. Make a fishing ship. Ah, bro. I know you're Byzantines, but you're not on the gold yet. And he's going to go fire galley. Nikov in chat calls him a noob. But guys, if you go fishing ship, hear me out. If you go fishing ship like Nikov did, Viper's already invested a second dock, and Viper's going to make like 4 or 5 galleys to defend from such little investment. Now, you can just make one fire and keep it in there too, I guess. And Viper's going to kill the Vill. And there's no way that villager really survives. And then Andy's going to hop out with the fire. He repaired the palisade wall. And okay, I mean, you're forcing a reaction. That's what you want at the end of the day. That's what he will get. And Andy's scout is also extremely dead. But the fire galley on Viper's fish. Viper needs to make more. And this is investment from Viper that he wouldn't have wanted. So work for Viper there. Now we've got skirms and now we've got spears from Andy. And Morville's heading to gold so we could eventually make more fires. With Viper, even in his prime, it was always the first game of the day, right? First game of the day for Viper. I think he'd say it jokingly half the time, but then it definitely became a thing. And I saw that a bit in his series against Valis in the earlier rounds even. He ended up 3-0ing that, but he was really slow to start in that series and probably should have lost the game. But because he won it, I felt like he got a lot of momentum and it didn't like mentally unravel him or anything, right? The skirms are already out. Spears are already out. They won't kill much all that quickly. Doc not producing much for Andy. This is actually huge. That Viper could just make 2 fires and stop. It's really nice for him. And I guess he saw the spears and skirms and thought that for Andy, he was never really going to be able to also contest for the water. By the way, behind this, as this is extremely messy and incredibly difficult to micro and to cast, behind this, Andy's on 8 fishing ships in this pond. So he's done a great job. And he actually has a demo here. Viper needs to be careful. You shouldn't be fishing next to that. And as I say that, Viper actually just moves the fish away. But awkward times for Viper. I think he might have got housed, so he got wheelbarrow. Maybe that was intentional. Viper hasn't lost a villager yet, but... Oh, God, Andy, did you hear the gate? I heard a gate. I don't see the foundation. By the way, they need to fix that. I don't know if they ever will, because I know it's been talked about a lot, and it still hasn't been addressed. Oh, I think that was the gate opening. So basically, if you're playing the game, right, and your opponent drops a gate foundation to try and trap you, the second the gate foundation is dropped, you actually hear it. So you know someone's going to gate you because you hear the gate. It's like a very oddly specific thing, but against Viper, you walk into his base in Dark Age and you just start hearing gates even before you see them, and you know to get the hell out of there. Man, what an opening from Andy, by the way. What an opening. He hasn't done too much with this dock yet, but I feel like it's opened up the opportunities on land for him. Andy's going to be fully walled. Andy's got tons more fish. Andy's also fishing over here. And Viper has just not been able to get moving here, really, in the way that he would want. I think one fishing ship died to the demo. Or maybe, no, I don't think it did. Because I think that was Viper losing a Vill. And Andy's going to click up to Castle Age way faster than the Viper. And just kind of felt like Viper was going to win this, you know? Viper was going to get at least one win. I thought it would maybe be a 3-0 for him, but FreakinAndy is on the way to Castle Age way faster than Viper. Viper's not even close. Viper hasn't gone over to this pond. Viper hasn't gone over to this pond. He has just been completely defensive. And Andy with the perfect start here. Can you imagine if Viper doesn't make playoffs? If Viper falls into 4th spot, that would be ridiculous. So Ornlu said yesterday, he said if Viper faces Sebastian in the playoffs, that he would actually favor Sebastian over Viper. Would you agree with that statement, guys, or is that a wild statement? I'm really glad Ornlu said it, because if I said it, you know, that could fall back on me. Then now there could be some judgment placed on Ornlu and not me. I think it's somewhat valid, dude. Based on the performances we've seen, absolutely. Now, Viper playoff mode, that could be a different story. But based on the performances we've seen, I think Sebastian would be the favorite. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Viper hasn't even lost a game yet here. But that's, you know, it's what happens when we're talking about the snake. There's expectations. Viper still has not clicked up to Castle Age. Andy's going to be in Castle Age in 10 seconds. And Viper, very curious to see if he's going to wall now. It feels like he has the time to full wall, so Knights can't get into his base. There was a moment against Hart where he was ahead, and he didn't wall. And he regretted that. And now you actually see him placing some walls. 6-1 Eco KD for Andy. Andy's also Byzantines. A Civ that can be really comfortable in these situations. No docks over here for Viper. And over here, Andy sees Viper. And Andy is going to aim to wall in the Viper's Ville, and does do so. So Viper getting walled in for once. Viper can't escape with that villager now, and Andy should be able to start dominating this pond. And here come the scouts. Or here come the camels chasing the scouts. Honestly, though, that's funny to see the skirm moonwalking. A lot of players would have used this moment to maybe break through the walls and be aggressive. Andy's just going to boom. The camels will go for the skirms. He drops the second TC. He's going to aim to win water, maybe. Like, this does not seem high priority whatsoever for Andy to try and break Viper. And maybe it's the best play. Just get an even bigger lead. Get the relics now. Yikes, Viper. Losing everything. I think if Andy also snags War Galley, he should win this pond. But maybe he doesn't even think it's needed. Like, Viper, unless Viper gets War Galley, your fires are already stronger as the Byzantines, right? Viper getting bloodlines. Viper going for cav upgrades. And Viper, 3 fishing ships. So, did we miss a desperate Andy demo at the end there? I thought he had 6 fish here. We must have missed something there. A lot of other things to focus on here. Viper goes in for the monk. Andy on point with the defense, though. Viper might not get that. I don't think Viper gets that. Viper loses his scouts. And the scouts go down. Andy could be in. Andy knocking on the doorstep here. And Viper, he's going to go for Cavar. I don't know what he makes yet. Still trying to figure out what Viper might want to go for. 20 eco behind Andy at the moment. Will not be able to take the pond on the left. And Andy going for camels and skirms and monks and siege. The Byzantine dream, guys. It's a sick from Andy. He went Sneakville, and then he just used that to set up everything else. He took all the pawns. He does lose a camel to conversion there, but yeah, he took all the pawns, and he walled up. And nice eco transitions. Wheelbarrows in. Horse collars in. I mean, this is pretty close to perfect. Viper's going to have to find a way to stop this push from unraveling here. And right now, he's intending to intercept the monks here. But Andy is Byzantines. Andy should be able to see this. And Andy also about to get relic number 2. Viper, 2,000 resources collected behind. And will be a town center behind. This would be... If Viper comes back from this one, this would be a classic, man. So far, Andy feels inevitable, which says a lot about how good he's playing. It's hard to feel or look inevitable against Viper. Viper... Oh, God. It looked like the scout did damage there. I think what happened was we heard the damage, but the audio doesn't always line up with the attack. And there was a little bit of healing there too, but I think he tried to immediately click that scout away. Not really sure, but Viper's scouts against the monks haven't worked. And Viper's going to lose another monk there to Andy. Viper needs 1 win to go playoffs. Andy needs 3. And Andy... gonna make things interesting here, guys. Yeah, I'm with Chad on this. I don't really see a win condition for Viper unless Andy makes mistakes. Viper could get good conversions. There could also be an overchop. But Andy, he did overchop it, but he quick walls in the last moments there. He should be fine. I think we'll see a couple camels head over there. What I like about Andy is how patient he's been. A lot of people, when they're the underdogs, I mean, like, look at how Daniel played the previous series when he wasn't even the underdog. Daniel was like, it's a tournament, I gotta kill, and he was doing some crazy things. Andy's just chill, man. He's super chill. He's been playing great in some other tournaments as well, by the way. He's been playing in, I mean, it's a much smaller tournament, Masters of Hyper Random, but still, he's been playing really well there. Like, no one was expecting him to beat this guy named T90 Official 3-0 in the qualifier. And surprisingly, he did. It was a big shocker. Oh, God. Big shot, though. Andy's got to back away there. I think he beat Classic Pro. I think he's beat Barles. I think he's beat a lot of players in that tournament. And Viper waiting, hoping for some mistakes here so we can bring this back. Still 25 eco behind, but the killer blow for the Byzantines would be Imp or a Castle here. All of Viper's Knights getting away. It's a lot of monks there for the Viper. But maybe that's the best way for him to do this now. I think Andy just... Oh, he didn't kill his own Mangonel, actually. The Spearman did, somehow. Where do you castle? There's no hill that is obvious. Like, there's hill here, but there's no resources underneath it. I guess you could maybe castle the TC, though. Here feels good because it's directly between the bases and next to your siege workshop. You don't need a forward castle either, but it feels natural when you have this map control. Viper did somehow snag 2 relics. So he is that. And Andy doesn't see everything that's going on in there. With the proper conversions and a good Mangonel shot, Viper could turn this around. And Viper lands a big Mangonel shot. No villagers coming forward yet for Andy, at least not a lot of them. You can't see that Viper is building his own castle there. Oh, man, dude. Oh, man. Oh, that's crazy. All right. Well, again, this is kind of tough right now for Andy because a lot could go wrong. His Mangonel goes down. He does take out Vipers. Now he's going to dive with the camels. Viper will lose his monks. Andy's stealing the monks. Andy converts every single monk. And yes, Viper's castle is going to go up, but he is not going to have an army. He doesn't have anything, and Andy will just back away, place a castle there. The camels are into Viper's eco. Quick walls galore for the Viper. And I don't know if Latus can recover the situation for the Viper. You can't ignore the armor of God on the monks with the Latus. And camels are still a really good counter unit. FreakinAndy clicks up to Imp. On his way now with a castle somewhat close to all this. And he may even be able to escape with some of these camels to heal up as well. This is sick. Viper's nowhere near Imp. 6,000 resources collected behind. Triple pawn domination from Andy. Triple TC from Andy. He's played the perfect game. It has been maybe his best game so far in Titans League. I know, like, we talked a little bit about Viper's slow start. I think Viper had a solid game here, right? But he's just no way back with how perfect Andy's been playing. Viper was just so far behind in Feudal Age. And he needs to be very careful here. Viper waltzed right in, and now Viper needs to be careful. And it kind of looked like both players were distracted. Maybe by this. And the Viper's units get pushed away and converted. Andy completes a TC on his face, and Andy's going to build a castle on his face as well. And GG, before Imp, Viper calls it, and we have a bit of a situation on our hands, folks. FreakinAndy wins the first game. What a great game from him, man. I mean, the initial dock was amazing. I think Viper really wanted to deny that dock. He knew his opponent's reputation, and maybe even the Civ. Tried to get the wall up here, and he had his scout patrolling around. I mean, he kind of did everything right. He had the house here to give a bit of extra vision. He had the Vil here. He had the scout. Andy's quick wall was sick. And once that dock was down, Viper had to respect it. Viper goes second dock and fires to respect it. And then on his doorstep right after that was constant spear and skirm. And then that whole time, guys, like Andy's sending Vils to the sides. That's how you play cross. Vils to the sides, competing for the pawns, winning the left pawn, having the right side uncontested. That was beautiful from FreakinAndy. And so I see a couple people in chat who bet their channel points on Viper are very disappointed. And I see the few people that bet on FreakinAndy are loving Andy right now. There's the 29,000 res collected there from Andy. There's 22K there for the Viper. But again, Viper just needs one win to go playoffs. That's it. This game won't matter all that much. He definitely just wants to fight for the title. And he should still be fine here. But let's just look. Let's see. Let's see what the stats tell us. So after that, it is now 75% chance for Andy. So 6 wins for Andy, 8 wins for the Viper. Andy needs 2 more because he would beat Viper on the tiebreak if he 3-0s him. I think Viper's still fine. He's got to still be fine, right? He's got to still be fine. Chat, I just need a minute. Actually, what do we have? Shoals for the next one or Acropolis? I actually need to step away for a minute, and I want to keep the show rolling today, so I might step away in Dark Age like a lame-o again. Here we go. Yeah, game 2. I will do that after a bit of an introduction here. This is probably a bad trend to start with the channel, but you guys seem to be handling it pretty well. Wow, hold on. Look at these positions. Look at these positions. This is Acropolis. They both start on separate hills, but their separate hills are like joined. They are very close together. Usually, someone in Viper's position is going to like think that the other Acropolis is over here. But occasionally with Acropolis, this can't happen. I actually remember years ago this happened. So they have romantic hills here, I guess. Japanese for Andy. That's probably picked so he can take advantage of the fishing aspect. Viper's #1 Civ pick and one of the most dominant Civs in the game. Chinese here. Viper needs 1 win to go playoffs. This is his best opportunity. If Viper loses with Chinese on Acropolis, that's when people can truly be concerned. He's had an incredible start, though. Should maintain the Vil lead. This puts a lot of pressure on Andy to be aggressive. And I will be right back, guys. I will be right back. You tell me, T90, hydrate. Take care of yourself. And I do. So, well, I'll be right back. All right. Sorry to interrupt the AWE2 ASMR, but I am back. And before someone asks, yes, I did wash my hands. By the way, this will be the last time I do this during Titans League. Full transparency on why I didn't just do that during the break. My parents are in town this week, and I'm working every single day, right? Which I kind of feel kind of bad about. So they're in my house. They're chilling, and I want to go out this evening with them. So I figured today, because it's just the last stage of groups, I'll try and keep the show moving as quickly as possible so I can spend some time with mom and dad, you know? So that's why I've kept things moving, and then I keep things moving, and then I have to go to the bathroom, so. But yeah, really weird gen. And they might not necessarily know about that because they're just going to know the opponent's going to dock with them. Also, Andy's lumber camp is... This is the lumber camp from someone who is pushing deer and not necessarily scouting. Look at that long wood line there for Andy. Now, Viper, he has scouted his wood line over here, so he's likely to go this direction. They both actually have some backup wood in the corner, too, which we have it set so usually if a player has stone and gold here, we try to remove that possibility. We would actually call an admin re. We did have that in the, I think, Barrels-Nikov series, and the admin couldn't reach either of the players. We would have actually read that. I found out later on. I didn't think of it in the cast, but... So Viper will head down for a second lumber camp. Again, there's fish. How much fish is dwindling here? We've got 300 food remaining on the big fish. And then you've got the short fish around the sides. And I thought maybe with just 2 fish, we wouldn't see a lot of aggression here. We have seen a lot of aggression on the water. Japanese feel great, though, because you have the strong fish, and then you have the really OP Cav Archers in Castle Age. But their mid-game, compared to someone like the Chinese, is going to be tough. Res Collect is already there for Viper. Like, this Civ is absolutely busted. I've been saying, no surprise, they're probably going to make a change to this Civ at some point with the rumored DLC. And it's either first pick on your draft, which was the case for Viper, or must ban each and every time. But remember, in Andy's case, as Viper now sees the barracks and is probably like, what is this generation here? In Andy's case, I don't know how ambitious he was. I don't know if he was expecting, if he was aiming for the 3-0. So he probably was happy to give up Chinese on the draft so he could get wins to survive. Because he would have felt like he needed the wins to survive more than anything. Both up at the same time. They both hit at the same time. Even though Viper targeted a little faster there. And Viper knew the barracks was coming up. Viper has the barracks at home. And will also add 1 fire galley here. I'm a person, yeah, I and others made a bunch of videos on it. Basically, they teased there's a DLC coming. And on a lot of the photos, it seems as though they're going to do something Chinese-focused. Which people are speculating, not that I'm a speculator. Sorry, I absolutely am. People are speculating that since they set some precedent with previous DLCs to turn the Indians into, like, Hindustanis, Bengalis, Dravidians, they think that maybe they will do the same thing with Chinese. But scout there from Andy. Viper doesn't know exactly what he's up against. He seems a little paranoid. Andy just attacking him there. And fishing ships trying to tank here for the Viper, but he's not Japanese. So his fishing ships are going to die pretty quickly. And Andy's fishing ships are just tanking right in front because he is Japanese. And Viper's fire galley is going to go down. And that's 3 fishing ships for Andy still working. Viper loses every single one, guys. Andy also wants that villager. Viper wants the quick wall. And Andy gets the villager and gets the scout out. It is a 4-0 eco KD at the opening here for FreakinAndy. Viper needs 1 win to get playoffs, and then he's set. Andy's already going to survive, but if Andy gets these 2 wins, we will see him fall into that 3rd place position. What a start for Andy here, man. Viper scout getting hit. Losing some HP there. Lost another scout here, guys. Like, it's kind of deja vu. You know, some days it's clean, it's sharp, it's crisp. Other days it's just not really all flowing for the Viper. And Andy is really sending it, too. Spears and skirms again. It's the same thing that he did up against Viper in the previous game. Japanese don't really have any crazy bonuses for this, but I kind of like it. It makes it messy, and clearly that worked in the first game. 6 spearmen, 5 skirms for Andy right now. It's the plan. Normally, the Chinese are pretty far ahead in res collected. It's even right now. Let's go FreakinAndy. Viper has his own skirms here to whittle down those spears, but 7-1 KD right now for Andy. Sorry to any Brazilians for having to say that scoreline, but it happens every now and then. And I'm sure that wound is still open, but man, just wondering what's happening here with Viper. He doesn't have many skirm numbers here. I think his food eco is struggling, and in order to really deal with this, he needs to have more skirms. Now, he did make a fire galley there. I think he had a demo land that we missed, but Andy's just going to allow his fishing ships to tank again so he can win the fight, and Viper is under pressure still. Andy is also going to drop a tower behind the wood line. Man, what is FreakinAndy not doing at the moment? It seems like he's So much more active on the map. He's playing incredible. Viper can just not get into the game here. That tower is epic, by the way. If that tower gets walled in, Viper could have some really annoying problems to deal with. I thought it was a foregone conclusion. I asked chat, what are the chances Viper 3-0s, Andy? And a bunch of people said 90%. I saw a couple 100%. I'm not sure where those people are right now. But they probably can't believe what they're seeing. Wow, Andy knows his tower is about to go up. And so he wants his army here to also disrupt Viper. And there's the tower. Honestly, you just wall it in. That's all you do. Wall it in. And this is the correct response from Viper, too. If someone won Vil towers against you and you can range it, you counter tower and then you garrison 5 Vils to shoot that down. It's still annoying, but at the end of the day, you'll take it down and you'll still have a defensive tower for later on. Viper may lose another Vil. Andy just misses it, but Viper's counterattacking, and Andy can't build a tower here, and things have been going so good for Andy, but one counterattack from Viper, and everything for FreakinAndy is going to completely fall apart. He has been nothing but aggro this game, and now he's got no defense, bro. And now Andy is like, he feels like he has to do something because of that. Oh, but it's an absolute massacre here, man. Viper's going to destroy... I mean, there's still Vils around. Viper's going to destroy everything. And spears and skirms are not really... I mean, it's weakening things, but it's not near as devastating as the damage Viper is doing. That was a great moment from Viper. I love that. I love it. I mean, that's the decision you need to go for. If spears and skirms tickle you to death, but archers and scouts finish the job, where are these Vils even going right now? Andy needs a lumber camp on wood somewhere. And these Vils are going to hunt for it. You know, it's a bad time when you don't have enough wood for a lumber camp with Japanese. He just was chopping straggler trees to get wood to build a lumber camp. And all right, I mean, Viper's never going to look there. Viper's really confused. But that was some good damage for the Viper. Farming eco is looking great. This army could still get good value. And Andy's on the way to Castle H. But 4 spears and 7 skirms, and most of that's here just to protect these Vils. And he doesn't have a lot here to protect these villagers. I mean, this is the issue for Andy. It still remains the issue for Andy. Viper could still harass. Viper could find lots more kills. Andy's army's still on the front, accomplishing nothing. And Viper is going to pick him apart. Another villager down. Scouts are pretty weak. But Andy pushed off the gold now. Also, Viper coming back on water, too. He's done that a couple times throughout all of this. Another villager down. Again, Andy plays through extremes. He plays through lots of numbers or very little numbers. And we've seen both this game. He started crazy, and you start crazy so you can get to Castle Age. Viper's resources looking solid. And I think he needs to get in his groove, and that's exactly what this is. And now Andy's just losing everything now. Another villager goes down. Like, what's his plan, dude? Obviously, it's very adaptive. Okay, a knight into the wood line could be something. Especially because all those Vils are weak. And probably that and adapt. But this is so different than the previous situation. Andy has to do damage with this faster Castle Age. In the previous game, Andy could do whatever he wanted. He could be aggressive or he could boom. Viper heads back over to this gold to see if the villagers are there. Sees they were. And Viper is now walling ahead of time. Oh, man. You can't wall the hill, though. And Andy's back. And the villager for Viper is stuck walking in place. Now, thanks, DE, on that one. There will be a knight somewhere. The knight is here, but Viper is mostly walled on the wood line. And now Viper is off of gold. And now Viper's kind of panicking, too. And now Viper can't defend from this for another 50 seconds when he can make his own knights. What is this game, dude? Props to Andy. Yeah, Viper did overchop. That is open. A Knight could maybe run in there, but Andy checked and thought it was fine. Or thought it wasn't fine for him to get in, I guess. Andy still has a lot of weak vills here. He really needs a Knight to go deal with this. He's right now just trying to ignore that. Man, if Andy could realize that there's an overchop, that would be so sick. But he thinks that's walled up. And he knows he has Viper off of gold, and he feels like that's good enough. Couple Knights. If Viper can afford 3 or 4 Knights, he can clear this, probably. And Cav Archers now for Andy. At least one will come out. Long term, Viper's going to want to expand down here where Andy is. Right? Like, that's what you do on Acropolis. So the fact that Andy has all these vills here is a pretty big factor, in my opinion. And Cav Archer actually dies to the Archers. That hurts for Andy, and Viper's going to stabilize. Viper's got way better food eco. He's got way better efficiency. He does still have access to gold back here. And now here he comes, because he knows about that lumber camp. And Andy, he's scrambling to defend at home, and now he needs some quick walls. Howls is Palisades for Andy. Palisades again. That's really well played. And Viper won't kill the vills yet. Also sees the monastery. This is such a weird game, dude. It's just really hard to keep track of. There's so many adaptations needed compared to your normal Acropolis game. But again, I think it's much better for the Viper right now. His eco is much healthier. Better eco upgrades and just better position as it stands. Cav Archers for Andy running through the middle of the map. Viper still wants in at this wood line. And Andy is going to hop out. And we hopped out on the wrong side. And then he decided he had to convert. And then Viper hesitated. And Viper loses the Knight. Had Viper committed there, I think he gets the kill. And Viper says, interesting. Interesting. So basically, let me translate. In case you guys don't understand what that means. That means that was a lucky conversion, bro. That means that conversion bothers me. That's what that means. I think I didn't need to explain that. But yeah. We're about to see another interesting conversion. Yep, it does happen. Now, if Viper doesn't get a conversion here himself, he could be rather frustrated, but he does kill the monks, and he does get a TC. He does have a big army. His monk is still alive. He's adding another TC. He also has the archer still chipping away. I mean, Viper's position is great here. It was about the regrouping. Yeah, maybe Viper was complaining about the regrouping. That's fair. It's unfortunate how used to it I am to see regrouping issues when I'm casting and playing. But it's never fun. Andy, though, it's such an awkward situation for him. The second Viper sets up 3 TCs in this situation with Chinese, it's hard for me to feel like Andy can do too much. The TC positions are honestly perfect for the Viper. Yeah, these archers, 9 kills. But a lot of that was part of the initial attack. In some situations, the pressure's on you to do damage. But right now for Viper, that is not the case whatsoever because he's Chinese and his eco is superior. So he's going to wait it out. And he needs to get some damage done right now. 2 town centers for him. And I heard another unit die over here. I think that was a Vil. Yep, it was. And Andy's Cav Archers, still no Bodkin Arrow. They'll aim to loop around here again. He needs that damage, so he's looking for it. Viper still pretty much denying the gold because of those 3 archers. Andy's going to have to get something there. A Bodkin Arrow for Andy. Viper sees all of this. I think the correct play for Viper, I think right now he's chasing down the CA. I wonder if you can just counterattack with the Knights. Like, obviously, you have the eco lead. You want to keep it. But now he's chasing down the CA. CA do not have Husbandry, and the Knights do, so Viper will get some hits. Husbandry 25 seconds away here for Andy. Viper looked for monks with the light cav, didn't find it. Viper about to get the relic in the middle of the map. Andy should be fine with those CA. And I think he also sees the monk. That's classic Viper. And monk is dead. Knight Stove here as well. Got a bit of a snipe, but the Monk went down for Andy, and he can't really advance into those TCs. And 10 villager lead for the Viper. Look at the difference in res collected, and look at the counterattack. This has been the issue for Andy. He's trying to do damage to the Viper, but he doesn't have any defense. And anytime Viper counterattacks, it's a massive problem. Andy's clearly not looking here. This is very interesting for the Viper. Very interesting. And I guess there was also an engagement here Andy was looking at. So well played from Viper to do both at once. Andy was completely focused elsewhere, and it's just so tough. His eco's split up on so many different spots of the map. So much idle time now. And Viper, never a doubt, right? Never a doubt that he was going to win this one. More villager kills happening. A defensive castle from the Viper. Elite skirm now coming in as well. So the Cav Archers is pretty much how Andy was planning on winning the game. And if Viper has elite skirm with good upgrades, that's going to be tough. And Viper building the castle with 1 vill, by the way. You can't tell me that that's not a little bit of a flex. one villager defensive castle in front of the enemy buildings. Like, that's, I mean, maybe it will be a doubt. A different kind of doubt. Quick walls. I mean, again, well played from Andy. I mean, these circumstances are just awful, and he's doing really good to manage the situations. And Viper's cheeky little defensive castle hasn't gone up yet. Cav Archers, though, are still being chased down by skirms. The Cav Archers cannot manage that whatsoever. And Andy's just like, I gotta ignore this because I'm behind. I can't send any army to deal with this. But this is rough, man. If you build the castle with 1 vill, you can only lose 1 villager to the mangonel. Yeah, I guess that's true. It's actually really smart to build castles with 1 villager, guys. You should do that. GG. And Viper moves into the playoffs. Honestly, I thought it was a really good opening from Andy. I mean, I said it all before. It was so aggressive. He had all the early advantages. But it just hit a point where Viper realized. Funnily enough, it was after Andy forced Viper into a tower. Viper goes, well, what's that army going to do to me, bro? Like, look, like the whole game, Viper's reacting. It's looking bad. It's looking bad. And then, right after he does this, he's like, I don't need gold, really. That's fine. I can leave that. I have a tower here now. I can leave this unprotected. And then I just go forward. So it's one of those situations. Oh, sorry. I gave FreakinAndy a win. My bad. It's one of those situations, I think, where I wonder what happens if Andy never builds the tower. The tower is obviously good. I like that tower. But Viper might never counterattack if he doesn't have to build a defensive tower. I don't know. So, great game. Andy just sent everything he could against Viper, which is what I think you have to do, especially when Viper's playing Chinese. And the downside of that is completely exposed at home. Would have been nice if maybe he had that walled in a little bit, or had some of his army production building somewhere close to this. But he was already marketing, thinking about Castle Age. He was not planning on making more army. Look at how far his buildings were from his eco. In Viper's case, his buildings were right next to his eco to protect it. So, yeah, Viper will go to playoffs. We have a final game here, which shouldn't change too much. I got to double check, though. There might be a slight possibility Viper can still get second in the group, but that will not be solely on this result. I think it depends on what happens elsewhere. So that solidifies Andy in 4th, regardless of what happens in this next game. And then Viper is more likely to be 3rd because he's lost a game. But if he wins this next game, he gets $40. His chances go up to get 2nd because maybe Heart gets swept by Dark. So yeah, there's still a lot up in the air there. And there's still possibilities that Dark doesn't get 1st, too, if Heart beats him in the final series of the day. So, alrighty. So, game number 3, again, to just restate it, Andy is 4th place regardless of what happens in this game. Nothing can really change. There is obviously the $40 per win. In Viper's case, whether or not he gets 2nd place is still up in the air going into the final series of the day, Heart and Dark. So, definitely betters Viper's chances to get 2nd. And we know who the potential opponents would be as well. If Viper gets 2nd place, then he will play up against Mr. Yo in the round of 12. If Viper gets third place, Viper will be up against Sebastian in the round of 12. So, I mean, banger either way. I don't know if Viper would really have a preference there. When you're at this level, you're going to have to beat good names to win the whole thing anyways. But obviously, if you can have the path of least resistance, you will take it. I seem to think that based on this season, and just based on the fact Viper's played Yo so much more, I think that Yo would be the easier matchup. But, man, what is Andy doing here? Why do we have Idle TC, Andy? Oh, my God. Are you kidding me, Andy? Dude, if MBO was in the casting booth with me right now, he'd be saying so many nice things. He tried to be sneaky, and he tried to not take a Buffalo, and he wanted to take Deer first. But 19 seconds of Idle TC, bro? You're up against Chinese again. Your opponent's up on Vils ahead of you. It's fine. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. We'll see a doc from Andy. We'll see a doc from Viper. But, dude, every time Andy has played this map, he's gone really aggressive on water. Like, really. He goes fast feudal every game. He likes to go for lots of galleys. I think Viper would be more of the player here to adapt into some type of fast castle. Sneak out some fish. Save the fish with this sea tower. And then get to Castle Age and adapt from there. Did you forget Mr. Yo is Mr. 7-0? How dare you call him easy? No one's easy, all right? Let's not freak out, all right? No one in Titans League is easy, okay? But the Mr. 7-0 meme was a while ago. Right? And there have been results since. I remember the streak very well, where Mr. Yo, I think he won 4 overs Viper, and then he won 3 overs Viper. But I think if you look at results since, you will find there were some really good results for the Viper, so. But I don't know. Yo's just so crazy. Like, Yo is always so slow to start in every tournament. And in Titans League, that was the case this season, so you can't look at Yo and think he's going to be a slouch come playoff time. Lion K says, does this set in any way affect playoff scenarios? It does, but I already explained that. So, basically, Viper has to try and aim to get this win to potentially get second. It all depends. Viper docking underneath a sea tower here. So I think that's so he can he can avoid getting disrupted by any feudal play. And I could pretty much guarantee Andy's going to go fast feudal based on his early dock. Because that will be... He's essentially taking the fish that are unsafe first so he can build the second dock and be safe in feudal age. And that's the only time that there could be any problems to lose your fish. Lingard, thanks for the 22 months. Says, thanks for your many toilet breaks so we can watch the horses scout. P90. Well, you're welcome. I didn't know you were going to say that when I read the message. But 2 years is a long time, so I'll take it anyways. Azaran, thanks for the 4 months with Prime. Welcome in. Majestic Apex, thanks for the 55 freaking months. What's up, man? Says, hi, I'm new here. I know you are, dude. Elub, thank you for the Prime. Says, use your Primes here, ladies and gents. Thank you, Elub, for doing my job for me. Taseki, thanks for 51. Rusty, hello. Ackerman, Gubo. Gubo rooting for Andy. Gubo was rooting for Andy an hour ago. So Gubo was having a good time with that result. Woody with the Prime. Christ with the Prime. Joseph with the Prime. Man, you guys are right. If we're going to hit these sub goals, I need to mention Primes more frequently. I think I will mention Primes up until we get 1 sub away from the embarrassing story goal. And then I will shut up about it. The last 2 goals, I know they'll be great for you guys, but the one is extremely embarrassing, and then the other one is a 24-hour stream, which will be epic, but also requires a lot of work. So, and we'll see how it goes. Andy clicks up, and Viper clicks up here, actually. Viper, a little bit of walling here. Shoals can be awkward where your gold generates sometimes. So that's how I think why the walls look a little bit awkward. He had to experiment with how he wanted to play that. Just surprised. I feel like feel like maybe Viper could have clicked up a little faster if he wanted to go galleys. And if you wanted to go fast castle, he should have clicked up a little bit later. To me, it actually feels like he's trying to go fast castle, but he hasn't balanced it out perfectly. But maybe he has, actually, because he'll get Loom and then 2 Vills, and then he'll build his buildings. He might have the time. Malicious says, T90, are there any games after Viper Andy? Yes, we have number 1 and number 2 in the group after this. Right now, Dark is first in the group, and Heart is second. Heart can still go first, and that series affects where Viper goes, too, right? So, the best series yet to come to finish all of group stage. I am Nidai. Thank you for the Prime. Go Primeape. Thank you for the Prime. Zewas and Johi. Thank you for the Prime, guys. Welcome. I will keep going. Thank you. Crazy support, man. And a hype train has begun. Let's go. So, again, every time Andy played this map, he went for the galley approach. And the main thing I was critical of in all those games, I think he ended up winning one of them. I think he lost both, actually. I think he lost all 3, actually. The main thing I'm critical of, if you're spending a lot of gold on water on this map, I want to see town centers on the gold to make up for that investment, because you don't have a lot of gold at home. For now, his galleys are finding some kills on Viper's fish, and Viper is fast castling, by the way. I don't know why he's placed his market blacksmith here exactly. It felt more natural to the front of the base. So the base layout's a little bit weird for the Viper. But I like the approach from Andy. Essentially, the approach is add some galleys to try and snipe fish, and then add some more fish behind. And so he's doing that already. Also, he and Viper's scouts just butted heads there for a second. But Andy's going to wall up, drop a stable, maybe eventually... dropping a barracks, maybe eventually a stable, is what I meant to say. But sneaky dock from Viper, man. So this is the only civ that can really do this. To go fast castle with this many vills, which is so little for Viper. I mean, this is... His eco is stretched thin. You wouldn't be able to justify the War Galley upgrade and double dock with any other civ on this eco. And so, because you can get it, the goal now is to basically make all of this be a waste of investment for Andy. But I think Andy saw that, right? Did he see that? No, he didn't. But I think he also should know. Italians typically do this, even if it's just one dock. And so there go Viper's fires, and Andy just out of position with the galleys. I think he may actually be looking for another dock, funnily enough, but Viper put it down here. And Andy probably going to lose his fish, but he should still pull back to the sea tower and make fires. Because if you have a couple of your own fires, plus your galleys, plus the sea tower does have murder holes. This might be good, and Viper's looking for the fish over here. They're actually clumped down here. 1,000 extra resources collected here for Andy. 1,200 now. I mean, the fishing ships are still paying off. Viper's only had 2. And you get the extra vills because of the melee bonuses, so... Andy will click up soon. There's a lot of time for Viper to make decisions, though, and Viper just keeps yeeting in the fire galleys. This is the play. As I've maintained all season, I really don't think water control is that key in Castle Age, but what you don't want is you don't want those fishing ships fishing freely. That's amazing for the Viper. Crazy damage. And even sees this villager now as well as Andy tries to sneak up another dock, and that could be a dead vill for Andy. That's the cherry on top if he can get it. Viper might have to bring the scout for that. So, yeah, now at this point, Viper's had a crazy KDs, and I would expect town centers to drop for him. And I'm seeing Vills walk this way. I think he will actually TC the gold. Maybe it's for more docks. Maybe he'll go for a defensive TC. Okay, defensive TC. And Scout's looking for the Vill? Oh, that's great attention to detail for Viper. To remember that, to notice that, to get that Scout over here is fantastic. So, let's see how Andy plays this. You've invested a lot into water, so you might feel like you really need to keep active here. But these games normally go imp, and you really need good eco for that. Scout from Andy's here. Seeing what Viper's up to. And TC number 2 for him. Market, actually, to balance out his eco. Because he doesn't have much food eco. And TC in the north. This is the adjustment I wanted to see from Andy. I like that a lot. And I actually am okay now with him continuing to fight on water if he's using this gold. Right? Like in Viper's case, Viper found payoff for it, so it's not that big a deal, but Viper's not mining those extra golds just yet. Yeah, I mean, live, laugh, wallow, I agree. Viper's attention to detail is absolutely ridiculous. I will say, though, that the example I gave with that scout sniping the weak Vil, I think most players in Platinum should probably be expected to make that move. I think the attention to detail I'm curious on now with Viper, though, is will he scout the TC spots for Andy? Because Andy still benefited from those fish. He lost... He lost the fish, but he still had them, you know? There were still great memories to remember. And by memories, I mean, you know, resources. 2 TCs, 3 TCs now, and Andy sees the TC from Viper. Now, this is kind of at that 3rd TC timing. And he's aware of that, and he'll have villagers over here too, so he could maybe push that to some degree. And attacking with the scout, I swear if he loses the scout... Oh, man, dude. I think he thought Viper was going to be distracted by that. That was the hope. And that's a dead Vil. No? What's happening? Is it going to hit? Hello? Hello? Dude, that was crazy. Andy repositioned like 6 different times there. I thought he was going for the fire in the Vil. Oh, nice job. Usually someone will move it twice or 3 times, but 4 or 5 times you don't expect. That was sick from Viper to notice. Thank you, Playboat and Johi for the gifted subs. We have a hype train going, guys. Sick. Andy not giving up on water. Andy with the villager lead. And can you imagine where we would be emotionally right now if Viper had actually lost that previous game? Andy's played well today, dude. He's played well. He's been ahead in every single game. Economically. And, I mean, the previous game, maybe he wasn't, like, super far ahead. And Viper obviously turned it around pretty quick. But Andy's played really solid. Like, he has not played like someone who feels like the underdog at all. Zara says, why you hate Viper? Bro. I don't know if you're trolling or if you're serious. I'm allowed to talk about good players not getting wins. That doesn't mean I hate somebody, all right? Viper and I go way back. Viper and I have been friends since you even knew what Twitch was. So don't even. Why do you like Viper? Well, the list is long. That's a little bit less negative, so. So, again, Andy knows about this TC. He's aware of this. And he may choose to push that, but Viper now knows about Andy's TC. And he also knows about this Vil. Andy needs to delete that. Andy running away. Viper's going to block it? That was funny. Blocks with the weak scout. Gets the conversion then. And now the fire's on the way? Okay, fire's on the way. And galleys are on the way. You better get out of here, Monk. Was it worth it for a Vil? See ya. He did. Nice, micro. I think the key for Viper is going to be, as I've been saying constantly, also this is kind of funny, Viper house walling in the relic. The key for Viper is just gold. Like, straight up, like he has not positioned any TCs on the gold whatsoever. If you were to do so now even, he's not even going to have that many on gold. He's not even mining this. He can't even mine this because of the galleys right now. And the monk is going for a relic, I think. And the monk... And I feel like there's an accuracy difference between a war galley and an archer. Because if that was archers, an arrow would hit. I don't know the exact difference. But yeah, Viper losing water control could potentially be an issue. And that sea tower is finally going to go down. Curious what Viper's plan is. The scout there from Andy forces the monks away. And Viper's dropping stables in the north. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky stables. But Andy's boom is insane right now. And he can add fish again if he would like, by the way. On top of the 3 TCs he's had. Malay are just... For as crazy as the Chinese are in the previous game, Malay have been the same on Shoals and a couple other maps. So I said the last couple days, I said I think you really should be banning Chinese and Malay or first picking them. I don't know what Andy's first pick was, but Viper's first pick was Chinese. So yeah, 100% accuracy on the galleys. Well, if that's the case, that actually kind of hurts you when you're trying to kill monks that are dodging, right? And there goes Viper with those monks. Sneaky, sneaky monks. But he's adding Lycav, guys. Andy doesn't see that, does he? This is funny. Viper has an outpost. So he knows Andy has an outpost, which is why he made the stable on the edge of the map. And now Andy wants to drop a castle, but the Lycav will surprise him. And Viper tries to get close, and Andy gets the house wall, and that castle may go up for Andy. And Andy's also on the way to Imp. Sneaky docks from the Viper. Is there a league higher than Platinum? No, Platinum's the highest. It's Platinum, and then below that it's Gold. And then below that it's Silver. And then below that there is technically nothing, but we do have a Community Cup coming up. And it's for all ELOs. So we will have other leagues unofficially. This castle is not exactly the cleanest situation for Andy ever. Also, there goes Viper with a relic. And, I mean, if Viper can TC the south after this damage, I'm feeling much better about his position. That's been the main thing, is he does not have a TC down here in the south. Andy's found him trying to sneak back on water, or at least the ships have. I don't think Andy sees that. Viper's doing some good work here. He's doing some really good work. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Can you imagine if that Lycav got converted? It was pretty wild how Andy just decided to build this castle anyways when he saw Lycav. I expected maybe some house walls there. So a little sloppy. But he is an Imp. The castle will complete. It will secure the gold. He still has water control. He's actually going to be ahead in Vills anyways, so this could be fine. And Viper, 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 Viper! Tries to get the relic, but can't get it. Well, Lycav actually made it in here. So this is great damage, dude. This is amazing. Like, this is so difficult for Andy to focus on things now. But Andy did notice the water control Viper was coming back with. That will be short-lived. And now the stable positioning isn't necessarily ideal. It's actually kind of tilting me, like that the fact that we don't have a TC down here. I mean, I'm blown away that there is no town center down here. I just don't get it. There's been no map control from Andy the entire time. There were villagers here that built docks, like one villager castle from the Viper. I guess maybe he does know the situation, and the situation is, if he loses here, it is more likely that he faces Yo than he would face Sebastian, correct? No. If he loses here... hold on. Words are hard. I don't know. It's not important. All that's important is Andy's dropping a forward castle. Yes, the other way around. Andy's crazy, though. This castle's wild, bro. Are you actually going to place this castle when the opponent's making a castle there? Maybe he didn't see Viper had one. Viper is fletching now, so that's a doubt. That castle will not go up. Viper's castle, who knows if this will go up? That'll go up eventually, maybe. Defensive castle now. Karambit's run into his base. Andy's bringing Trebs, guys. Andy needs a castle here to protect his Trebs. And that castle will be denied. Andy taking this so serious, though. Look at the stone walls he's repping on the side so Viper can't raid. I love that. Andy, do not lose this treb. Don't tell me he loses this treb. Guys, Andy wins this game if he just placed a safer castle seconds ago. Honestly, he wins the game. Viper could do nothing about this. He would lose this castle, but Viper's got a ram, 2 light cav, a Genoese crossbowman, and a dream, and he will take the treb. This castle stays up. This castle's up, saving all that eco. This castle's up, protecting the gold that is seemingly not important for the Viper. And Andy, he does have a lot of eco over here, but he's not actively mining a ton of gold here either, actually. He will take out Viper's dock now. So this is going to be... We're basically in a state where there's not going to be a ton of immediate pressure now on either player. So I think Andy will just try and max out before he goes for a play. Oh my god, that was an attack round with the cannon galleon. That is not something you see every day. They do not have ballistics, so that was an attack round. If you just right-click that monk, you're going to miss every time, just like he missed the Genoese crossbowman. Can you win this map without controlling water? Yes, but you need the freaking gold! You need the gold! I don't get it! Viper, go get some gold! I'm sorry to scream! But you need gold! You need gold! Like, it's been here the whole time, bro! Viper! Come on! Now the T90 hates Viper guy is going to be back, but, like, take the gold, bro! Take the gold! Here come the light cav now from Viper, which do have some upgrades. But Andy's got some army around. He takes down the stables. Andy can range. There he goes. Andy can range so much from the shoreline here. The Viper just doesn't seem to... He seems stuck. And any option he could go for here, he needs gold. And he's been out of gold for a couple minutes now. And here come the Vills now. We'll place a mining camp. And, ooh, Viper also denied the walls somewhat over here. I love the stone walls from Andy. I've yet to see anyone do that. But I think Viper's cooked, guys. I think Viper's cooked. His relics, which took some time to bring in, are going to go down. His castle will go down. He cannot push this position. He doesn't have town centers on the gold, so he won't have lots of vills there. He does have a raid, perhaps? You do have a raid. If you could call it that, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be enough. And Andy's just played amazing today, guys. He's played insane. Again, like, just boomed like a madman. Was aggressive where he needed to. He's played absolutely insane. And I props to him as well, because this is... I mean, this is a tough one coming into it. He didn't know the results that we saw at the start of the day, so... Andy had the fear of potentially being relegated today. Viper moves the relics 20 tiles back. But he does have defense now. That bomber cannon could defend those trebs. Kind of... I know it looks kind of awkward from Andy's perspective that he's not dealing with this. But he doesn't actually have the pop space too. So he is investing into killing Viper here. And, well... Actually, Viper's on water. Viper's on water with the cannon galleon. Wow, cannon galleon will go down. Andy's like crazy boom with 40 on gold, and he knows how important the water can be, so he's even getting shipwright. We might even see Thalassocracy. That's already in, so his docks fire arrows. Dude, Andy. Cover every inch of the shoreline with a dock, please. That would be crazy. Can you imagine? Just keep moving around with docks. It might actually make my game crash. With all the arrows. Andy is going to walk back home with those arbs to clear up this push. And Viper just has to ignore the shoreline. Which, again, like, I think it's actually a very legitimate strat. But you need... to have the gold to be able to push, and it's taken him some time here. Andy attempting to wall this off real quick to stop Viper from saving the treb. This is still open, though, is it not? Andy, that's still open, bro. Okay. Well, Viper's Treb is stuck. And Viper 60 on food, by the way. 60 on food. Lots of food to make skirms and Lycav. And has a decent enough base setup to defend because of that castle. But the second that castle's gone, he's gone. And Elite Karambit now for Andy. I actually want to see Andy go elephants. And just rush this area. Like, take him off of gold. And then you win. The Arbs are here for that. And Viper's raids will just run in towards docks. And Viper just... It feels as though, you know, the flow of the game's been gone for a while. He hasn't been killed yet. He's trying to claw his way back, but it's going to be really tough from here. Has to cram castles up along the edge of the map. He can't place it anywhere near the gold without the water control. But Andy's pop capped. He's maybe in a situation where he needs to consider deleting some eco. Maybe deleting some lumberjacks to get more pop space. Because he doesn't actually have a way to kill Viper. Because he needs more pop. How many castles has Viper placed on the edge of the map this game? How many buildings? A lot. Also, harbors are obviously really strong. But they're not strong enough to immediately kill units. So units can still get through. Now, that is a proper dock block right there. But there is one tile the units can run through. And Andy's quick walling it. Viper had a bombard cannon over here. I think that got sniped by the cannon galleons. But Viper's through over here. And the Hussars are going to run through. There is a gap. That could kill some Vills. I think Andy probably needs to lose some Vills, though, to finish Viper off. So that's not horrible. He's just hoarding all the resources. And yeah, those Hussars may kill a few. Andy, 3k gold. If you could go for Wonder Victory, now would be the time. But you can't. Relic and Wonder Victory is not enabled. It is Conquest. You have to defeat the opponent. Or force them to tap out. I think it's unnatural against Italians to go for Elite Battle Elephant. But Elite Battle Elephant is a sick play here. Like, your opponent can't make Genoese Crossbow because they don't have lots on gold. Like, it bothers me to still only see 4 on gold. Viper can absolutely come back if he just gets more on gold. He's holding on without lots of gold. But Bombard Tower from Andy, and he's going to go for the kill now with the Karambits. All of Viper's skirms go down. And Andy has enough bombard cannons to maybe threaten this castle. He needs more reinforcements here because Viper will have a lot of production coming. And Viper has monks. Ooh, man, was Viper ready there. Hopped out of the castle. And 5 bombard cannons on screen now. I guess you can try and use the Arbs against the monks, but then the castle fires there. And Viper converts 1, converts 2, and only lost 1 monk, and a lot of Arbalests died as well. This is where maybe Andy could just go for some Trebs too. I mean, I think he's like, are you kidding me? And Viper, 170 pop. Trying to raid on the side here. And kind of slithering his way through, honestly. Andy is really trying to ignore that so he can push. Andy getting devotion now to resist those conversions. Viper is about to be bombard tower walled. Look at this, man. Who needs a dock on the shoreline when you can make bombard towers? Not something you see every day. Cannon galleons get sniped by the Hussars and the skirms. But if Viper loses... Like, this is where all of Viper's farming eco is. So, he can't lose ground here and recover. It's impossible. And I think Andy's just slowly building up. Basically, Trebs seal the job because Viper doesn't have any cannons to snipe that. Viper attempting to raid. Has to run past so many docks. So many walls. Still has the siege here, taking down the new walls that Andy is building. but his castle is falling. This castle is falling. Andy is creeping forward with more Arbalest, more Bombard Towers. He's still got 3,000 golds. And Viper's chances of getting second place in the group slowly disappearing. Again, all depending... Huh! Well, delete it, maybe? He doesn't see it. It all depends on what happens in the other series, really. The good news for Vipers, we will see him in the playoffs. But he's just stuck here. He calls it GG and just didn't feel like Viper was really comfortable in that game. Or really the whole series. I mean, if it wasn't for that one counterattack in the second game, maybe this was a 3-0 and maybe Viper doesn't make the playoffs. Well played from Andy here today. Very easy. You come in against Viper and you might feel the pressure of the situation. I was thinking Andy just needs to get one win. That's the goal, but he could have easily won the whole series there. Well played to him. He would just miss out on the playoffs ever so slightly, but he will be back in Platinum next season. And Andy, dude, Andy deserves it. So, Viper, I think was far from his best, but it's been kind of that season. You have those games which are just insane, and then those games where he's able to get bested, and people aren't used to seeing Viper get bested as frequently as he has this season so far. So basically, Viper ends with a very reasonable win tally of 9, and then Andy ends with 7. This is what the group looks like before our final series. So, yeah, what could have happened, is if Andy would have ended up winning 3-0, they would have been tied on 8, and Andy would have been ahead in the tiebreaker. So, Viper, 87% chance to be third, 12% chance to be second place. And then the final series will be Dark against Heart. If Dark gets one victory, Dark will end up in first place, which means Heart is, well, actually, it would depend on how many wins in total. But basically, if Dark gets only one win, then he will be first place, go directly to the quarters, and then Heart would be second. But if Dark were to sweep, actually, what happens if Dark wins 2-1? Okay, yeah. Dark wins 2-1, Heart is still second place. So basically, for Viper to end up being second, now he would need Dark to sweep Heart. And that would be something. But again, live standings, we have one more series. Dark at 10, Viper at 9, Heart at 8, and then Andy at 7, and Valis and Daniel already relegated out with 5 and 3.